Hey everybody, my name is Casey and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video we are going to be building a shopping district. So I have really only done one of these on my island. It was like a couple islands ago, but I've never done a structured one. So it's going to be a different style for me. This is the area that I have laid out, and then I just have this little bridge right here that will be overlooking the shopping district. And so I'm really excited to start this build. So let's go ahead and start up the Island Designer app and begin decorating, and I'll kind of walk you through my thought process throughout this build. I am still feeling a little bit sick right now. I'm definitely getting better, but it's been a rough week or so. But I am getting better, like I said, and I really wanted to get this video out for you all. But here I am. So I am just laying down some pathing and some different tile codes. There's going to be a lot of that in this video. I tried to edit out as much as possible so you guys could, actually want to watch the entire video. But I think it's kind of important to see how the pathing is laid down, because it can kind of add a lot of interest to an area. Like as you can see below the incline, I have those kind of like brick stairs code, and then here I'm just lining the bridge with some flowers and bushes, and then I'm trying to figure out the pathing that will be leading from the bridge. So I'm going to use the in-game pathing, and then I'm going to go over it with some custom code. So I'm going to just work on that for a little bit right here. So right here, I am just figuring out what type of pathing to use over the in-game pathing. I decided to go with the cobblestone pathing code, and then I'm going to just go ahead and fix some of this waterscaping right here. And I do want to make this area be like a little seating area, but I'm still trying to figure out how I want these two different types of pathings to connect from nooks to this little bridge area. So I'm just playing around with the in-game pathing a little bit right here, and then I decided to move on to the other side and see if I can make it look kind of symmetrical. But I really struggled here. Like, this is probably my biggest build that I've done in a while, and I just wasn't sure how all of the pathing was going to work out. So it was kind of just a lot of trial and error. And then as the build kind of progresses, you'll see it obviously turn into an actual shopping district. But it just took me a while and a bit of kind of experimentation. So if you're trying a new theme, definitely don't be afraid to test out different things, and if you don't like it, you can always end up redoing it. So now I just figured out how I want to lay down this pathing. I'm going to actually go ahead and take this kind of brick step pathing and have it be the path that separates these two areas right here. So I'm just making it so I can have it on each side of the bridge. I've mentioned this in my previous videos, but I do want to have this island be symmetrical in the areas that will allow it. And so now I'm going to just continue and fill in the rest of this pathing, kind of bordering the nooks area, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same over on the able side. So far so good, but when I was building this, it was definitely getting a little frustrating just because I was laying down so much pathing. But as you can see over here, I decided to extend it down a bit, and then I decided to come back over here and use some simple panels. So I will let you all watch me build for a bit, and then I will let you know what I'm working on. now that I have somewhat of an idea of how this area is starting to turn out and look, I have to figure out what items I'm going to place down. So I decided to use that blue scooter. I really think that's such a cute item. And then I'm over here on the right side of Nooks, and I just decided to go ahead and extend this pathing just a little bit more. And I am going to make this be kind of like a little seating area with a bistro table. I want this to have like a really rustic and city feel, like, I don't know, you're somewhere in Europe. And so I know I want to have this area being bordered by trees, but I didn't like them all in a straight line. I've mentioned this before. If you're going to use trees in an area, try to make them staggered when possible. I personally just like that look a lot better. And so now I'm just planting a stunted tree, and then I'm going to go in and border this area with some of the hedges and then use that plant partition item. I really love the new items. Like, at first I was really overwhelmed and I didn't know how to use them or incorporate them into builds, but it just is so like nice seeing something besides like a log bench and a wooden stool in an area, you know? And so here I'm just adding some final touches to the outside of Nooks, adding some shopping carts down, just trying to give it a bit more of a realistic feel right here. When I got to this part of the build, it just looked like this pathing needed some sort of border, so I'm just going to go around this area with this tan or beige path border, and then I'm going to fill in the area to the left and the right with this kind of cobblestone code and then the arch tile code, and then on the right hand side I'm going to make a little cafe, so I'm going to just finish filling in this pathing and then start working on the cafe area. I wasn't sure what type of furniture to use for this area, so you'll see me kind of playing around and experimenting with several different types of furniture, but I do eventually get it to come together. And then I do want to use trees to border this area as well, so I will let you all watch me fill this in for a little bit and then I will stop back in. So as I was using the hedges on the little cafe area, I decided to add it to the area on the upper right side as well. And then I'm going to just extend this cafe portion down a little bit and then use that same bordering. I just feel like using the hedges makes it feel like each of these areas are separate from each other. And so if you're trying to do like a realistic or like city type of feel, definitely try using hedges. And then I'm also just making sure to use trees on the outside because it just gives it a more kind of realistic feel. So now that I have all of these trees planted, I'm going to go in and start adding some more items to the cafe area and surrounding areas in this build. So the hedges for this area kind of threw me off a bit just because it's such an awkward little space. So I wound up playing around with the placement of it. I wasn't sure if I wanted them directly on this cobblestone pathing or not. And I decided to end up keeping them on the pathing. It just feels like more enclosed and more cozy. And then I'm just going to kind of go around this area right here and clean it up a bit. And then I will add in another little arch tile pathing on this side, except I'm not going to make it a cafe. I'm just going to make it like a little park area, and I decided because I have this little awkward space right here, I'm going to use that pergola item. And when you're walking on that like second level to the left, I think it'll look good. But now that we have all the trees cleaned up over there, I wasn't sure how to start the park area, so I decided to come back over here and work on the cafe. So I'm going to use this cafe counter, and then I'm going to place some items on top of it, the antique cash register, and then I'm going to put it right in the center here, so you will only be able to enter from that kind of lower front side of the cafe. And then here I'm just going to play around with some furniture, see what I want to do for the seating for this area. So now that I have kind of the items that I definitely want to use in this cafe area, it's just adding on some finishing touches. So I struggled a bit with the seating. I just decided to use that little stool on the right hand side and put one on each side. And then I'm going to have a little seating area right by the river. I've always wanted to have one of these on my islands. I just was never sure how to properly incorporate it to an island, but I think it would be so cute to see a little villager sit down and read right there. And then here I'm just trying to figure out if I want to add any more items to the lower portion of the path. I tried that rope fencing out. I don't totally love it, but we'll just kind of leave it be for now. And then I think at this point of the build, kind of struggling with what else I could add in, but I decided to come back and finish the cafe once and for all. So I'm adding another counter table on the left hand side, just for symmetry. And then I'm going to just add a couple items on top of it. I decided to use the dinerware. It just gives it more of a realistic feel. And then I came back over here, removed that rope fencing, and then I'm just testing out some hedges. I don't love how that looks, and so I decided I'm going to just redo some of this waterscaping for a little bit, try and plant a tree in here and on each side, and then I'm just going to fill in the area with some other little items like this little bunny. I think it's so cute. I decided to switch the color of the little covered checkout counter. I just like the kind of tan and white better for that area. And then now I'm going to come over here to this left side and start working on the little park area. So as you can see, I'm just using this pathing border, and then I'm just extending the pathing, and I'll just kind of do the same thing that I did on the right side, except I will change up how I place down some furniture for this area. So I'm just going to finish laying down this pathing right here, and then I will come back and fill in this little area right here with this arch tile pathing. So now that this area is done, I think I mentioned earlier I wasn't sure how I wanted to decorate the park, so I just decided to start working on adding another little seating area on this left-hand side of the river. And then right here, I'm just going to play with the hedges a bit more, see if I can get a sort of placement for them that looks good and kind of divides up each little area. And so I decided to keep it on the left-hand side, and then I'm going to just replace some of that pathing right there with some bushes and flowers. And so now I'm going to start working on the little park area. And so I decide that I want to just start placing items. Like at this point in the build, I was really struggling with what to use, so I just decided to just place items and just see if it works. So I decided to use that park bench in the white color. I think that looks really nice. And then I just placed down a little shopping bag, and then I'm just trying to place down another item on the right here, so I just placed that teacup. And then I do play around with switching out this bench a couple times. I couldn't decide on a color. I'm just a little indecisive, and then I saw that red dress back here and I was just like, that doesn't match, so I swapped it out for a white one. And then right here, I'm going to just go ahead and play around with the hedges a bit more just to make this feel a little bit more closed in over here. So now now that I finally have the placement of the hedges how I want them, I decided that one little weird one over there I would just grab, and then I'm going to just come back over here and place down a couple more items just to give it a more kind of park type vibe. So I'm using the paper kite butterfly model, and then I'm going to end up using a couple different items here. I'm just testing out to see what I like. I use a Moroccan footrest and then the stack of papers. I don't really like how the butterfly model looked in that corner, so I swapped it out for the vase, and then I decided to come back over here one more time, test out a couple different items. I do not like the dark brown iron bench, so I will end up changing that. I'm also swapping out this item right here. I'm using a pile of Zen cushions and then a teacup, and so I do go with the white plastic bench, the original item I had. So I think this is coming together nicely. I just have a couple more smaller areas that I want to fill in. So on the area to the left of where my rep is, I want to fill this area in a little bit. So I'm going to just play around with some placement of the plant partitions and the trees. So I will let you all watch me do that for a little bit. So right here, I'm just kind of putting the final touches on this build. I want to incorporate this flower bed. I just want to make sure it faces the right direction. So I'm going to just move this around a little bit. And then I am just going to go ahead and place this rope partition down, trying to make this item work, but I'm not sure that I can. So I think on that note, we are all done with this build. So let's go ahead and start the final walkthrough. So here we are. This is the incline that will lead us down to my little shopping district, and I'm really pleased with how it turned out. This build took me probably like 4 or 5 hours, like in real life time, over a couple days. Of course, I'm not feeling good, so that's gonna make my building time take a little bit longer anyways, but this is the view from the center or from the bridge. I am really happy with it overall. I think I can kind of go back in and add adjustments here and there as I see fit, but then if we go ahead and we'll just exit this little camera view right here and head to the right, this will be the area that's in front of Nooks. I tried to give it like a realistic and rustic shopping district vibe, and then we have the little bistro table. I also am just realizing that I don't have a stool right here, so let's fix that really quick. I think I have a vintage stool in my pocket. Yes, I do. So I'm going to just place that down and then inch it a little bit closer to the table. There we go. Now it is complete. And then if we come around here on the right side, we have this little seating area by the river, and we have a little book placed down there. And then if we come down this way, this will be our entrance to our little cafe over here. So I think this turned out really cute. I'm glad I was able to incorporate a lot of the new 2.0 items in this build. I also stuck with the blue customizations for a lot of the furniture items. I just think that complements the other colors nicely. And then if we come over here, we have the little park area, the area that I changed so many different times. And then we have this little seating area as well. But I think that will do it for this build. I hope this was able to help inspire you to create a shopping district for your island if you're doing a similar theme. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely let me know in the comments below. But other than that, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!